Two questions that I'm asked oftenly. Number one, why is it hard for me to lose body fat? And number two, I lost my weight, but I still have sagging skin. So how can I rectify that? This video is for you. So number one, the reason why you're not losing that fat is because the body has two ways of storing energy, which is glucose. Number one is it stores this glucose in form of glycogen in the liver and in the muscles. Number two, it stores this excess glucose in the fat cells as fat or as triglycerides. Now, excessive consumption of carbohydrates is the reason why you are not burning fat. Why? Because the more you consume carbohydrates, the more they are converted into glucose. The excess of that glucose is converted into fat and forwarded into fat cells. Again, a dangerous sugar that is in fruits and honey that is called fructose is converted directly into triglycerides and again stored in fat cells as fat. That is one. So if you continue eating those carbohydrates, you will never burn fat because you will increase your levels of insulin, and insulin is an anti-lipolytic hormone, meaning it blocks you from burning fat. So you will never burn that fat from those fat cells to get energy and to help you lose weight. So the more you consume carbohydrates, the more you continue saving fat. Now, the body knows that if you're consuming carbohydrates, there is an available and easy energy, a quick fix. So the body prefers glucose as its primary source of energy because it is a quick fix. It doesn't require any high amounts of energy to process it into ATP. However, once you convert this glucose into fat and store it in fat cells, it becomes a problem because the body loves fat. So it holds on to fat. And the reason why it is holding on to fat is because one molecule of fat produces like double the energy that you can get from carbohydrates. So the body does that intentionally to preserve that energy so that in case of an emergency, which is basically drought, which is starvation, which is fasting, and any other emergency that will require your body to process energy and give you glucose when you're not eating, then the body will turn to this fat. So it will break it down to give you that energy. So it breaks fat or triglycerides into glycerol, and that glycerol is converted to glucose, and that glucose gives you ATP, which is your energy. Also, it can convert that fat to ketone bodies, and those ketone bodies are used by the brain and also by your body tissues and organs. So that is the reason why you are not losing that weight. Number two, the reason why you have that sagging skin after losing weight is because you used quick fix to lose your weight. You went for those products, you went for those surgeries, the surgical procedures and all those, but you ignored the basics. The best way to lose weight is through fasting and eating healthy diets. That is the best way. So fix your weight through the kitchen. The reason why I'm telling you that is because when you start fasting, and this is beyond 18 hours of fasting, so prolonged fasting, the periodic prolonged fasting, maybe 48-hour fast or 72-hour fast, or even beyond 24-hour fast, your body will turn into a process that is called autophagy. Now, autophagy is basically cell cleansing. So what it does is all those organelles and all those debris that are inside the cell that are non-functional. So in the cell, we have these organelles that are dead, they are non-functional, they are waste, but they are just there. So they are accumulating there. So the body turns to this to break them down to give you energy. And that's why you will never lose muscle mass. Sorry. You will never lose muscle mass because the body is turning to muscle protein to break it down when you're fasting. That is not true. The protein that is broken down during fasting is the one that is inside the cells, which is broken down in a process called autophagy. So all those organelles that have proteins are broken down to give you energy that will be utilized. So it is like cell recycling. So it recycles all those waste products, all those debris, and gives you adequate energy through that process called autophagy. Please read about autophagy. Now, once you do that, you start cleaning the cell, the mitochondria starts being rejuvenated, so you'll have high energy, you'll have clean cells, you'll have a rejuvenation of these cells, and that will help you recover from chronic conditions. That will also help you recover from cancer. That will also basically you're recovering from cancer, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and all these chronic conditions that come as a result of this. Also, inflammatory conditions like arthritis, and others like skin conditions, and even those autoimmune conditions, psoriasis, eczema, and all this. So fasting is very important. Now, when you start doing that, when you start fasting and getting into autophagy, remember the cell is cleaning up, and therefore you will lose weight in an appropriate way, and that's the reason why you will never have that sagging skin when you lose weight through fasting and eating healthy. But if you go for all other procedures, you will lose weight, yes, but you will still have sagging skin, and that will be a problem. Most doctors will advise you to go and have a surgery to remove that skin, or some will tell you to go and work out so that the skin tightens up. It will never tighten up. If you want to lose weight and never have that sagging skin, start practicing fasting. Do not complain. Enjoy the fasting. Start slow. Start by intermittent fasting, then graduate or go gradually. Get into the 24-hour fast, then go into a 48-hour fast. Start seeing the results. Most people who have lost weight through autophagy or fasting and eating healthy, they never experience that sagging skin.